So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. This actually might be an episode for Friday, and today is Monday. I need to have a little bit of more time. I could actually use to something else, but it might be the case that I'm actually just leaving home on Friday as well, so that I might not be there at home. Would be not great if I wasn't able to just, upload a video, even though I do really have to say in the macro, it wouldn't change anything. In the micro, it would totally fuck my whole fucking day, to be really honest. But in the macro, it's quite something that's, in the really big picture, it's just doesn't matter quite. It really doesn't, because it's quite one fucking moment or one singular day of 70 more years. Which is incredible, which is just a lot. So therefore, I do just always have to decide and always have to say and tell people and tell you and try to tell you to not getting crippled. I'm just someone that is very, very strict. I haven't been eating anything that I should not be eating consciously and with, the real intent for a year, 2 years, I don't know. Just I do not count it and I do not do anything with it. But also do not get crippled, Life is short, life is really fucking beautiful, and do not get crippled by so fucked up things, I would say, unless, just be happy, I always thought like, I need a certain amount of money, and I need this and that, and I need whatsoever. Maybe because I'm always seeing it on a lot of social media platforms, which is not a bad thing at my point of view. A lot of people view it as something that's bad because it just somehow turns the perspective of a lot of young people into a wrong direction and whatsoever. But I do also think that it just shows you what you can do and what you can achieve and what could be possible even for you. This is also a way to look at it. And, as I'm just, telling you all the fucking time, there are just always at least two ways of just thinking about things or just viewing things. First one is good and the second one is bad. And whatever you're focusing on, that will just change the way your life is looking like, at my point of view. But yeah, I do really have to say something that I quite thought about, like in the last episode. I do tend to be a little bit cramped. Can I say this? And a little bit not at ease. And I should be a little bit more easy with quite what I'm doing. I do always try to just, I don't know, I just feel it internally. That I always just somehow try to, I don't know how I should actually say it, to just give my best, which is nothing bad. But I do not actually think that I'm just thinking about this, but it feels for me a little bit tough, somehow. I don't know, I'm just putting myself under too much pressure, but I could go through these episodes so easily and on ease and with the more intent on me actually just going through it and actually being happy going through it and being happy about actually what I'm doing. And I think this will also just change the whole way that you also see the episodes and the whole way it just comes across, which definitely just, is a big part of how people react to what I'm putting out. Because, it changes my tonality, it changes my speed, it changes what I'm doing, it changes a lot of things. And I do think a lot of things that might be relevant for me actually, I don't know, being happy with what I'm doing, on a big picture, in the big picture, and, other things as well. But without actually just going a little bit too far with my thoughts, as you can see, we are going through another Millionaire interview. I hope that you can actually read it quite well. And I do have to shave myself again. There are videos outside of me. I do not quite look just very favorable, to be honest. If this is actually a sentence, I don't fucking know. But it's I think actually the newest from the 8th of April. So it is from today. So it is actually the newest one. And I do think we just should go through it straight and to not lose any time of yours and of mine as well. And I do enjoy them. I do just really have to say I do enjoy them, but because you can see what people do, and this is incredibly valuable for me, this one. because yeah, this is something I will tell you just a little bit later, just a few minutes. So the overview: how old are you and your spouse, if applicable, plus how long have you been married? I'm 52 and my husband is 55, and we've been married 5 years. Do you have kids or family? No. She doesn't have any kids. My husband has 2 grown children from a previous marriage. They are both working now, so not dependents. What area of the country do you live in, and urban or rural? New York and just outside the city. What is your current net worth? My current net worth is 2.6 million, and I'm projecting this will raise to 3.5 million by the time I retire in 3 years. Which is just incredible, isn't it? Just, retiring somehow. I don't know how I should view it, to retire somehow in such an early age, because I do think 52, 55 as well. So maybe her husband is actually retired at now. I don't know. But it is incredible, right? Just being able to retire so early if you do not like what you're doing. I do also think if you just really enjoy what you're doing, you will never retire. And I do hope that I will just come to this point where I'm doing it as well, because I like what I'm doing so much that I'm at least doing something about it, because there's no way around for me. Just there's no way for me not doing what I'm doing. I hope I will come to this point, and I do just think I will, because I hope I will just leverage, and I hope I just will wait the happiness of just doing what I'm doing every single day for fucking 8 hours, or a little bit less, whatever I'm doing or whatever position I'm in. I hope that I will come to this point, and I hope I will think the same way about it as today, and I hope I will just not be dependent on the money that I'm making. Unfortunately, or hopefully, I'm not just putting myself into such a position. And I think it totally comes up to you, to yourself. And because there are a lot of ways you can just put yourself into a really, really fucked position. And that's definitely true. And I do just actually think about having my cap. Nah, a little bit. No matter how fucked up my hairs are, I don't fucking care. So what are the main assets that make up your net worth? Stocks, real estate, business, home, retirement accounts, etc., and any debt that offsets part of these. So now her cash and short-term accounts should be 614k. The brokerage 119k. The 401k, which is somehow a fund, isn't it? I don't know. I'm not quite that educated in this space. Unfortunately, I should be a little bit more at least, because I actually should start to invest today, I think, somehow, or at least tomorrow, before my 19th birthday, I would say, because it seems to be like you have to invest to really get rich or really to have some money if you're just retiring. And then a lot of people came up to me, yeah, I don't need so much money when I'm retired and, whatsoever. You can fucking retire with fucking 50, and that's fucking young. And if you're having 17 fucking million on your fucking bank account because you just, make sure the compound interest is doing well over the 50 fucking years that you're quite living, I think this is working. I don't know. As I said, I'm not educated. Do not take me seriously what I'm saying about stocks and, whatever, because I don't know shit in this space. Really not. Only a little bit, and maybe this isn't enough at least, or whatever. Yeah, like whatever. Anyways, company stock 214k, which would be a subtotal of 1.3 million. Gross value of properties 3.3 million, mortgages 1.6 million, and taxes on sale of properties 401k actually, which would be a total of 1.2 million, and all this sums up for 2.664 million. And I think there seems to be no debt or no expenses up to this point. Yeah. and the leftover funds would actually be 2.66 million, and before the retirement it would be in total 3.464 million, even though there is some other, let it be like it is. So it, up to now, comes up to 2.664 million. I need to figure out how to make at least 80k per year net of taxes from this money. Ideally, more 100k post-tax would be ideal. My biggest problem is I don't know how best to maximize the income I can get from the 1.7 million funds. I'm trying to figure out if I should pay down my mortgages and use the rental incomes as my main source of income, or if I should just pay the tax, sell them, and then reinvest to generate income. The properties have been good as they have appreciated nicely in the time I've had them and are likely to continue doing that, so I would like to hang on them as long as possible. I do think real estate seems to be great for me, just buying things and just then renting them out seems to be great, even though I do have to say that it could also just really go down, because I don't know how the renting laws at your place are, but at my place, I quite actually do not know them that well, but I think they aren't that well, especially for the person who is actually not renting, but who actually has the property or the house or the flat or whatever it is. And also I think if you're just buying something, let's say, the thing is, I've seen that you actually pay a fucking lot in New York if it's just a really small space. If it's actually one apartment or studio apartment, whatever it is actually called. If you're just having one of these, it's actually costing, I think, at least 1k per fucking month to rent it. I hope I'm sure by just saying this. I think even more sometimes. 1.5 even. Which just amazed me in a negative way, to be honest. It's just so high. And all these people think in my country about being actually in my district. So in Austria there are 9 districts. I'm in one of them. Makes sense. And we actually have the highest cost of living in terms of the actual property and rent or whatever it is. And it is fucking high. And I would pay 600 euros. 600 euros, which would be 674 US dollars, or quite 900 Canadian dollars, or 670 Swiss francs, or 560 British pounds. If you're interested in this, I don't know. But it's definitely a lot. You just have to view it as me actually moving out, maybe in the next few years. To be honest, to really quite tell a little story, I think this is quite interesting. I'm quite not stressed out or something. I quite want to, because I quite want to leave my home and be independent and, whatsoever. And I do feel it's just also because maybe of the relationship that I'm having with my parents, to be honest. I don't know, it's not that good. But I do also understand the other point of view where I'm just thinking only about the money and only about the economics, and actually paying 600 euros or 700 quite dollars a month is a lot, and it's a lot of money, especially for someone that's quite new in the just working space and who has his first labor and whatsoever. Our first job. It's quite a lot, because I do not quite think that I will earn immediately 10k a month. If it would be like this, it definitely would be much as well. Don't get me wrong. 600 euros or let's say 1k is a lot, even though if you're making 10k's just net a month, it's still a lot. It's a tenth, which is just much, I would say, or a lot. But yeah, I would like to, and also for the things that I'm doing, and also I do think that for the recordings it would be great, but it's so expensive, and also the electricity that is costing, and the food that I have to buy, and all these things. So there are a lot of things, and it's really compound interest, isn't it? the rent itself is a lot, and the things that I need to live and exist actually are a lot. If it's water, if it's food, if it's clothes, if it's, I don't know, just internet as well, or Wi-Fi. If I would just have to buy it for myself, which is a lot. If you do want to have something that's quite fast, which is something I need if I want to do the videos a lot longer, it's somehow fucked up. And because living is actually pretty fucking expensive, to be honest. I quite at least feel like this. But yeah, Ern, what is your job? I work as a marketing director of a large consumer company. What is your annual income? Just under 300k, including bonuses. In addition, I get stock options. I've actually never ever thought about stock options when you're just getting so much paid. I have never ever thought like this. I thought like, you will just get the money anyways, even though I do have to say, what's 300k? Fucking 25k a month. Isn't that much? I think it's great. I definitely just would enjoy having it, even though I have to say I wouldn't just know what I would do with it. But actually not. I wouldn't actually know. I think even though if somebody would came up to me, which I wouldn't actually like, and gives me 1 million, I wouldn't even fucking know what I would do with them. To be really honest, I wouldn't know. What should I do? I think I would just do the same thing that I'm doing right now. I would just be there and make the videos and just try to get to somewhere myself. And this is also one of the reasons that I actually told in one of the episodes of Sunday, to actually think forward to actually this being uploaded on Friday, that actually I wouldn't like to just win in the lottery and get so much money, or I would just not like to inherit it. Is it like what I mean? Inherit money from, died, people that are in your family or something. I do think so. I wouldn't like this, I would totally think like inheritance. Yeah, I think so. The problem is I wouldn't like to have it, because I do just think about it like I want to do it myself, and I want to get to somewhere myself. I do not want to just win the lottery and get rich. I do not want to just getting somebody else's money from my family to get rich. I do not want to do this. I think it's actually, and I do feel in it and I do believe it, and I do just feel it for myself, that the process is actually what's going to make me happy, and not actually having then the 10, 12, 13, 100 million that I will have at the end of my life. I think this won't just make me too happy, because yeah, money is great. You can just do a lot with it. Do not get me wrong, especially if you're young and you know what I mean. But I think it's the process. If I wouldn't be doing something that I actually like or love, I think I will never, or I would never get to the actual goal, I would say, because I would just get crippled before actually just be able to achieve it or whatever. But yeah, so 300k annually is quite great, and okay, never mind. I do think maybe there is a calculator. I'm just thinking about how much years you would have to work for actually having 1 million of net worth if you're quite making 300k a year. Basically, yeah, you can say 3 years or 3.3 years, actually. Or 3.1. No, I think actually 3.3. But the thing is, you do have expenses. You do have to pay your rent. You do have to live somehow. You could do it, basically, if you're just living at your parents' home and you're just living off of them. Could work. Tell us about your income performance over time. What was the starting salary of your first job, and how did it grow from there? My first role paid around 30k, which is 30 divided by 12, 2.5k a year, 2.5k a month, which is actually a lot as well. Do not get me wrong. I think it would actually be fine for me to exist, I would say. My salary increased significantly in the last 5 years when I took up a new role. I grew just through slow and steady progression. In my early years, I moved jobs every couple of years to build my salary quickly. And there, to really just add something which is fairly important for me, you can there see she's a millionaire. She has 2.6 somewhat million of whatever, of I think dollars should be. Yeah, it should be dollars. And she's working for a company. She might have a very big role and whatsoever, but she's working for a company. It's not her company, it is somebody else's company. And she's still making 300 fucking K a year for doing what he's doing, for doing what she's doing. And with what I just want to say that you do not have to have your own business to get rich. If the really only intent of your life is getting rich, you do basically not have to be in a business. You can say she just had to get up to this point when she was 52, I think she is now, which is fairly a long period of time. To be really honest, it is. But yeah, you can if you want to. This is just what I want to say, because I do think a lot of people just think about getting rich and whatsoever, even though it's not the only thing and people don't realize it, but I somehow know it. And the funny thing is, people who have the money know that it is not right, and people who do not have any money think it is, but it's not, and whatsoever. Yeah. What tips do you have for others who want to grow their income? I wasted a lot of time thinking I didn't want to reach more senior levels, but now when I look back, I wish I had been more ambitious early on in my career. I could have been in a much better financial situation by now. The years go by so quickly, so my tip is work as hard as you can early in your career to set up your finances for life. Your career goes by so quickly, it's never too late to change things, but making the most of those early years helps a lot. Don't wait until you think you're ready for a big role, just make the move and learn in the job. That's what I've seen other successful people do, and if I've done that, I would be much better off now. Which is, I think, actually true. The worst thing that can matter is that you're getting fired. Or you're just stepping away down, or stepping a little bit down from what you're doing actually right now. This is the worst case. Or you just get a lot of money, or you do just, have a great job, and I hope you're enjoying it. Nevertheless, anyways, if you're just getting a lot of money, or if you're not getting a lot of money, I think you should just be happy. At my point of view, I do just really feel it. I don't know. Blah 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 blah. You also have to go after what you want and not be afraid to ask for the roles you want. Take risks. Companies like to see people who are willing to do that, as long as you are sensible about it. And most of all, don't rely only on your company for your income. Things can change so quickly. You have to be prepared for the down times. Definitely, which is keyword diversifying. Diversifying what you're having and diversifying whatsoever. Diversifying your income, actually having a few income streams rather than one, which is basically the thing most of the people have, I think, is great. Because she actually says it. If the fucking company goes down, which could fairly be the thing, then actually not having any money or not having anything to back yourself up is very crucial for being in a very bad position. Therefore, just being like, okay, I maybe want to maybe I'll work harder and put a little bit of my money to an account or to savings or to buy stocks or whatever income you want to have. I don't know. This is good. I would do that. And I do just have to read a little bit more. Even I'm thinking about actually buying myself Unshakable. Even though I haven't finished This Is Marketing yet, which I definitely should, because it is great. I should just. I think, actually, let me see something. Let me see something that might be Unshakable. I do not know if it's the only book that is quite good in finances, but yeah, it's actually alright. I don't know if it's actually the greatest book you can buy on finances and or personal finances. But what did I want to say? I don't know. It might be the best book. It might not be the best book. It might be a good book. Let's actually see the Amazon reviews, just to let you know. So 4.5 stars, quite 874 reviews, which is fairly a lot. Most of them are there are a lot of 1-star reviews. Yeah, and definitely a lot of 5 stars. It's great at investing, entrepreneurship, Wall Street, real estate, economics. And okay, but he also has the thing is with this book, he also has Money Master the Game, which is his first book on finances, and which is way longer than the other one, which also has 4.5 stars, but a few more reviews, and even a little bit more. Yeah, it has quite the same advice and whatsoever. But it's outdated. You do have to say, okay, it's outdated. Definitely important to say so. And the thing that I wanted to point out is that you can actually get Unshakable for free right now. You only have to pay for shipping. And I do have to see how much of shipping it actually is. Yeah, it's $8 per shipping. The problem that I'm having with this is the website, by the way, is quite great, to be honest. It is really great. It's somehow nice. It's nice to see that people actually just have a great website. It's totally normal, I think, in nowadays lives that that somehow are really shitty. I don't know if they can just pay for a good designer or some whatever. But yeah, the first thing I do have to say, the shipping, I don't know if it's really for shipping, but because $8 for fucking shipping, I don't know if this is true, if this is the truth. But I've once seen a trick that you can actually do it like, okay, the shipping actually is for free, but you're also just only buying or just paying the book or buying the book for $8. So they somehow say it, okay, that is only shipping, but in fact it is just, it's just you buying the book and you get the shipping for free. And you have to give a lot of your informations. And I besides don't actually know if they're actually shipping it worldwide. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to read this. But maybe we'll go on a little bit with the actual book or the actual thing that we are going through right now. So what is your work-life balance looking like? My role is difficult and requires working some evenings and weekends too, and I have a long commute in and out of Manhattan every day. I would like more balance, and this is why I want to retire early. I want to explore my passion while I'm still young and healthy. I've worked hard over the years and saved to get ready for retirement. 5 years ago, I met my husband, and I've kept my own budget and savings separate, so everything I'm quoting is my share of assets and expenses. But I would like us both to be able to retire. I'm confident that I should be able to generate enough money to cover my expenses of around $80,000 a year, but I would like to figure out how I can get closer to our joint expenses of around $130,000 a year, which is fairly a lot, isn't it? What's 130 divided by... It's $10,000 a month. Who the fuck is spending more than $10,000 a month? I don't know. Yeah, I can imagine. If you're just living a little bit of a fancier lifestyle, is totally okay. If you just want to like this and you do have the money, go whatever you want to do. if it's your money and if it's, you've worked for it, just please do whatever you want to with it. Nothing that I should judge on, definitely not. And I definitely should judge on nothing. And due to a very messy divorce, my husband has no significant assets of his own. Do you have any sources of income besides your career? If so, can you list them, give us a feel for how much you earn with each, and offer some insight into how you develop them? No, and this is one of my main problems. I am only a few years from retiring, but I don't have any passive income streams. I need to figure out how to convert my assets into income. Rental income is one option. I could sell my short-term assets and use the money to pay some of my rental mortgages and use that as my main income. But I don't know if there are better approaches I could use. I recently spoke to a financial advisor for the first time ever to ask how I should begin building a divided income stream to use in retirement. His advice was I should just focus on balancing portfolio, 55% stocks and 45% bonds, and withdraw capital out of the growth as in the long run that works out better than trying to generate income from dividends and sacrificing growth. I don't know if this is correct, and I would like to hear what your readers think would be a good approach. Which is actually true, and which is actually a great way to actually get a little bit more insights, because I do think that there might be even a person that is quite knowledgeable in this way or in this area, and she's like, just give me advice. And I do think this is quite great. It just seems very human for me, even though I don't like this word, because I don't know, I always just hear the people, and I once somehow spoke to some guy in the train, which was quite a funny conversation, but I don't want to go into detail with that. But what did I want to say? It was once about, these people who have money and they buy themselves fancy cars and fancy shit, they're not human. It's way better if people who have, much money and they buy them some shitty car because they just don't need it and whatsoever. I don't know. I understand the point that they don't like the people who are just being like, I'm the best and I'm just, giving a shit on all the people. I'm so rich, I can just do whatever I want. I don't know, if they can, if it's their money, if they're not harming anyone else in a physical way. I don't know, don't judge these, they just can do whatever they want to do. So I don't know, I just think like, okay, they should just do it, whatever makes them happy. The only thing that I'm wishing to every singular person out there is real happiness. And I mean real happiness, not like fake shit and, fake delusional, fucked up happiness, but the real deal of happiness and just being happy with what you're doing and so on. But this is actually it with the episode. I do hope that you got something out of it, that you got inspired. I do think I'll go just on with that because it is very interesting, especially the tips she has on how to learn about your finances. Maybe she's commenting on some books. And the last one, the guy actually pointed out The Millionaire Next Door, which might be the next one that I'm reading. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And I'll see you actually the next time. But do not forget about your legacy, giving back to people, and how you will be remembered by others. It's not about their opinion, but I think you know what I mean. I'll see you.